here to review the Litewave Designs new 2013 DV8. So Litewave Dave makes this in both a 6'1" and a 5'7". This is the 5'7". I was lucky enough to get a good deal on a used board out of Florida. My background is I've been riding about 8 years on mostly twin tips. Just recently when Sandy came through the Bahamas, I went out on some waves and I got hooked. I decided, I gotta get me a surfboard. So the first thing I got was this used board that's pretty old, and most people would say, yeah, that's junk. So it was really narrow, the deck pad's worn away, I got rid of some straps, I'm slowly learning strapless. So after I went out on the old board 3 or 4 times, I decided I needed to step up to something better. So I've always been a fan of Litewave's designs, and I decided to get myself a DV8. So I've ridden it strapless about 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and it's a lot of fun. The first thing that really stood out to me is just this full deck pad, the full top deck pad. There was a few times when I was trying to switch my feet around and I would get pulled off the front of the board. But what I was able to do is just hook my toes, would grip right on the nose, and I was able to bring the board with me, so I didn't have to do any body dragging. So I could just hook my toes right there on the nose, just drag the board behind me. So a few times I fell off. If I was on any other board or board without a full deck pad, I would have been body dragging for a while to get it. But since this has a nice curved nose here, I was able to just hook my foot on here, grab it with a toe as I'm getting pulled by the kite, and pull it right behind me. Really nice. So I love the full deck pad. A few times too, my feet, I hit a wave and some water just splashed over the deck, and my foot, it almost washed my foot off. I was riding barefoot, but luckily we got this nice raised section on the back of the deck pad, so my foot would just stop there and it would just hold on. The other thing is I haven't ridden with the straps yet, but you can see as inserts, like wakeboard inserts, which is where you'd attach the screws for the straps. They're called inserts. I found out that 90% of the time when I'm riding, my feet go right between there. So it's really nice, obviously well-placed inserts by Dave. If I was using the straps, my feet would have been just perfect. That was where my feet were positioned 90% of the time. If it was a little bit lighter wind, obviously I'd be shifting my weight forward more, but 90% of my riding, these inserts would have been perfect position to have some straps. So he also has a slight center concave. I don't know if you can see that, but the rails kind of drop out some, so you have a nice big center channel and then just dropped rails. Makes it really nice just for grabbing the board as well, as do these just big grab rails all the way around. Really well thought out. This board shares a lot of similarities with twin tips. It has a wood core, it's really thin. The deck, I think Dave says, is about a 1/4 inch thin, straight through, and then you have this nice deck pad over the whole thing. This 1/4 inch wood core, you get a lot of flex, which is really good for eating up that chop. Knees weren't hurting as much as some of these other big boards I've ridden on. I also really like it's nice and wide, really good, easy to turn, very forgiving board. I'm just learning to ride strapless right now, and I was walking around on the deck while I was going. I didn't have any trouble. It's not very tippy. It's really stable. I'm 6'2". This is a 5'7". I had no problems with it. Great board. The back fin has a little bit of a deeper screw, but for the most part, they're pretty much all the same. I've nicked a reef already. It's the first ding I got in a fin, and it stayed on just great. So they're pretty rugged. I think it's some sort of epoxy coating he's got on it. Really clean design, nice, simple graphics. Really like the, zebra type print or tiger type print on it. So he's got a nice little cutout with a bar in the back for attaching a leash. So really easy board. My wife just had a few years experience, rides only twin tips, and her first time ever riding a surfboard, and strapless at that, was on this board. Hopped up on it, went great. Couldn't turn, she had to hop off to turn around, but still super easy. She was riding a big 12-meter kite in really light winds, had a blast on it. So just full disclosure, I did not get paid by Dave to make this review. I'm simply a fan. I've demoed some of his gear when he's done trips in Florida. Really liked it, met him, he's a great guy, and I just saw this, thought it looked really unique, and decided I'd get myself one. So I bought this used, and I've had a lot of fun in the last couple weeks.